think we just figured out the hashtag for this episode is slipperiness. Hashtag slipperiness.
Slipperiness. Yep. TM. Let me put a TM on there.
TM, right. TM, Chris Davis.
Right.
Welcome to the Active Marketer Podcast, where we talk about how to design, automate, and scale your business to the next level using sales and marketing automation. You can find out all the tips, tactics, and techniques you need to get more customers and sell more stuff over at theactivemarketer.com. Now, here's your host, Barry Moore.
Welcome to the Active Marketer Podcast, the podcast that's all about sales funnels and marketing automation. We have a repeat guest back this week because I love talking to him. He's a great guy. It's Chris Davis, the head of marketing automation over there at Lead Pages. And he's going to share his tips for building the perfect follow-up sequence. But before we do that, we're going to do a little bit of the shameless social proof segment where we read out your 5-star iTunes reviews. This week, we've got one from Australia from Ronsley. He says, 5 stars. This podcast does a great job. He says, this podcast does a great job. He tells the truth, is entertaining, provides value. This was a refreshing contrast. This is one of the truly useful and informative podcasts. I love that this show is here to keep me updated of the best tools of sales marketing automation. Thank you very much, Ronsley. I really appreciate it. If you want me to read your name out on a future episode, by all means, head over to iTunes or Stitcher. Leave us a review. Let us know what you think. It also helps drive the podcast up in the rankings in iTunes, which makes it easier for people to find all this great sales and marketing automation information. So this week we got Chris Davis back to talk about the perfect follow-up sequence. So let's jump straight into the interview. All right, I'd like to welcome back to the show marketing automation superstar, Chris Davis. Chris, how are you?
Barry, I am excited to be back and honored that you brought me back.
Always fun to talk to you, man, and get insights as to what you're doing and what's happening over there at Lead Pages. Yes. And there's a few people out there that I follow in marketing automation. You're definitely one of them because you're always putting out some killer advice. So I thought we'd get you back. Getting a lot of new people coming on board, wanting to know where to start, how to start. We've got a new case study series running as well, but that was really all about how you get up and running. So now let's talk about how you craft your first lead gen sequence. Does that sound cool?
Yeah, that sounds amazing, Barry.
And so just quickly, I know Lead Pages is getting ready for a live event. How's that going?
It is going easy for me because all I have to do is show up, right? So that's the easy and exciting part that I get to engage with people. I love engaging with people, figuring out where they're stuck and just helping them move on. So I get to interact one-on-one with a lot of our customers. So it's exciting, man. I'll probably get to meet Pat Flynn in person for the first time ever and a couple other marketers there, top marketers. So I'm excited about it, man.
Can you make sure Pat stops periscoping for a little while?
He'll probably be periscoping.
He will. I'm sure he will be. He was in Brisbane recently, actually, which is about an hour down the road from me, and he was periscoping the whole time. Like he got lost in the middle of the city. He was looking for diapers or something, and he's doing a periscope. And I just happened to click on it. And I was like, "What is going on here?" It's an interesting tool. It'd be fun. It's going to be interesting to see where that all settles out.
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right, so let's talk about lead gen sequences. I know you got some great ones over there at Lead Pages and some of the ones you created for your own businesses.
Yes.
So pretend I'm a newbie. Pretend I don't know where to start. What's the first thing I should be doing when I consider setting up my first lead gen sequence?
Yeah, absolutely. So I like the newbie approach because even us advanced users can use a gentle reminder that it all starts with your product. Absolutely must have a product or a clear destination. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it has to be clear where you have to know where you want to take somebody. Okay. And how I look at it is your follow-up is a slippery slide. All right. That means that somebody should sit down by opting in and be able to just smoothly go along to the destination that you've determined. Okay. And the amount of slipperiness or how slippery that slide is essentially how effective your copy is. And that's a way of saying you have to know who you're talking to and what they want. If you have those two things, your follow-up sequence will be extremely strong. And I would argue better than most people that you follow if you get that right. So With that as the foundation, the entry point, of course, is the lead magnet. And anyone who follows me knows that I take the mystery out of creating your lead magnet because it is a piece of your product. So the simplest thing is to think of a book. If you're selling a book, give away a chapter. Okay. So that what you're giving away is a subset of the product itself. So that when somebody consumes your lead magnet and your follow up, it's buying your product is a no-brainer and the confusion has been eliminated.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I like to use the train metaphor, right? Nobody starts building a railroad without knowing where the tracks are going first.
There you go. There you go.
Your lead magnet's the first station on that train line, and it's going to take you to the next station and the next station and the next station.
Yeah, exactly.
I think we just figured out the hashtag for this episode is slipperiness. Hashtag slipperiness.
Slipperiness. Yep. TM. Let me put a TM on
TM, right. TM, Chris Davis.
Right. So now that we understand that you need a lead magnet, and to demystify what a lead magnet is, something that you're going to give away for free. Call it whatever you want to, but you're going to give it away for free. So be prepared for that. A lot of people starting off, they want to hold everything like it's important. Give it away for free. There's more where that came from. You'll improve as time goes on. So you have your lead magnet. And a common question that I get is, okay, once I get their email, how many emails do I send them?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? 5, 7, 8. And there is no answer for this. That's what makes it really hard. But I've come up with a framework to make it very simple to get started. So I always recommend for your lead magnet, the easiest way to create a lead magnet is like 5 ways to do something you know how to do to get something they want. Right? So 5 things to use marketing automation to scale your business or, whatever. Right? So you've got 5 things and that is going to set the number of emails that you're going to send. All right. So if I've got 5 things, I'm going to send 5 emails. It's a very simple framework to use and it automatically answers that question and removes a hurdle so that you can keep moving. Okay.
5 things to get more slipperiness in your marketing.
There you go. Make your marketing more slippery.
That's right.
Whatever.
Yeah, and I just want to leap back to something you said there quickly before we gloss over it. But there is no right answer, right? Everyone says, "Oh, how many emails do I send? What do they say?" There's no right answer. If you look at all, guys who do killer marketing, Andre Chaperone and Ben Settle, right? Andre does it completely different to Ben, and Ben does it completely different to Andre. Ben's sending every day, and most of his emails aren't really about much of anything, but they work for Ben, right? And then Andre crafts his to the nth degree, and he creates a huge story, and they work for Andre, right? So there isn't one thing that works for everybody. You have to kind of tie it back to your product. You have to kind of tie it back to yourself, and how authentically does it match who you are as a person and as a business owner? So as you
absolutely.
said, there's no right answers, but there's good places to start.
Yeah. And we can't get away from the basics of business, supply and demand. What you want to do is as the demand increases, so should your supply. So if people want more email from you, give them more email. Get what I'm saying? So I just love keeping business very simple. And when like you're saying, there's no perfect answer. There's no right way. I have one sequence right now that's live. It's 420 emails.
Holy
420. Then I have another one that's 3, Barry. Yeah. They're 2 totally different audiences. And guess what? They both have over a 40% open rate. So, I mean, there you go.
Yeah. So they're both working, obviously.
There you go. But I know what my following wants to hear from me. So, as I said in the foundation piece, that is a critical piece to this because that's going to guide your copy so that you're writing what they want to hear. So
for sure. All right. So we've got our lead magnet, the 5 things to make your marketing more slippery or more.
Yes. Yes. Right.
And then we've got the follow-up sequence, which is 5 emails. So are you just reiterating those 5 points from the lead magnet?
There you go.
Oh,
there you go. Exact. Right. So simple, right? So now we've got their email. We have an opportunity. We don't have the time on a landing page because we need their email. Yeah. But now we have it. We have time to expound on those 5 points. And the strategist in me will not allow anybody to expound on those points without tying them into the product. Okay. Yeah. And what does that look like, Chris? That means a call to action in every single email. And the call to action in each one of these emails should be to get them to make the next step, which is to purchase your product.
Yeah, for sure. Are you going straight for the call to action to purchase, or are you, are you ramping that up as the 5 go? Like one might be, just to get them to reply, and then the next one's to some more information.
Right. Yeah. Definitely. I'll dive into what the sequence should do, but normally my welcome email, I don't include that in the 5.
Yeah. Okay.
And the welcome email is the email they get immediately. And after that, start with your 5 points, and each point tied to your product. And a lot of times right now, if you're starting out, you're scared to ask.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'll just say, closed mouth doesn't get fed. You are going to starve to death. In fact, I would actually like to flip that dynamic. It really comes from a lower self view in your business. Instead, I would like to say that people are waiting for you to offer it to them.
Yeah,
they don't know it exists.
They just gave you their email address, which everyone guards really, really tightly, right?
Yes.
It's like they've agreed to go out on a date with you. So lean in for the kiss, man.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yes. How would you? I can't remember what. I think it's like I rather live with remorse. I can't remember the saying, but it's something about I rather do it than regret not doing it. There's a fancy saying, and I would hate to be on a date with one of the most beautiful women in the world, and she's ready.
Yeah,
she's got lip gloss on. She's got the breath mint in. And the only reason why I didn't get the kiss is because I didn't ask for it. That's my God. I couldn't live with that, Barry. I couldn't live with it.
That's right.
Hence, I'm married today. So
stop being a wussy and just sell. And I think I want to loop back to something quickly, and which probably ties into why you set up your sequence this way is, as marketers, as business owners, as product creators, we all craft our little babies and send them out into the world as lead magnets. And someone's downloaded it, and hooray, you get the little notification that someone's downloaded your lead magnet. Don't assume that they've read it at all. Right? It probably ends up, most of the time, it probably ends up in a folder with the other 100 lead magnets they've downloaded and not read, right? So
exactly.
Another reason to hit them up in the emails with the main points from your lead magnet, because you can't just assume that they've read it.
There you go. Exactly. And it ties into why you're going to use those 5 points. It's less work for you. You're not hitting them with something new, and you're taking into account the fact that that they didn't read it, and if they did read it, it'll be even more powerful because you'll be reiterating what they read.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about those emails then. So what's in the welcome email?
Oh, yeah. So your sequence, your sequence that you're building, it should engage them early. Well, first it should deliver the promise. I don't want to gloss over that. Like, you told them you're going to give them an ebook. Please give them the ebook. Seriously, do not give them the ebook. After that, you want to engage them early, because early engagement will increase the responsiveness of your list and its hygiene. Okay, so in that first email, your main objective is to get them to reply or click a link. Either one of those is going to give you a better reputation with your email sending service. So get a reply or get a link clicked. A reply is stronger because now how they're gauging, reputation is they're treating when someone replies to you as more, it has more juice or a bigger reputation. But if someone clicks a link, you've proven that it can enter their inbox, they can open it, and they clicked it. So you're training them to take action. So engage them early is what that welcome email should do.
For sure. And if you can get both, boom, even better.
There you go.
Just a quick question on that lead magnet delivery. So are you sending them first of all, are you doing single or double opt-in off of those?
Yes. So Barry, this is what I was so excited to come on here and share is I'm doing, watch this, a manual automatic double opt-in.
Ouch, that sounds painful, man.
So I call it the single double. That's the easy way to say it. The single double. It is single opt-in in nature, but it has the same results or the same effect as a double opt-in. I'm just in control. So it's really simple. I'm going to show you how to do it in a minute, and I'm going to give you guys all a nice little gift to help you implement it for yourselves.
Awesome. Just before we get to the single, double, triple backflip. So in that welcome, deliver on your promise thing, are you sending them to kind of a completion page where they can download the lead magnet from there? Or are you sending it in the email as a link, or are you doing both?
Yeah, so me personally, and of course, there's two ways to do it. It all depends on my objective. Most of the time, I'm not delivering the magnet on the thank you page. That's something I have never done. I've seen people do it and it works well, but I don't do it. I'd always deliver it to them in email. So that welcome email will have the link for the magnet in there for them to download with an engagement call to action to reply and or click. As you see, that's how I get them to click in the first email.
Sure.
So yeah, always in the email for me.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And all right, let's go back to the what did you call it? The single double. What was it?
Yeah, the single double.
The single double.
Is what I call it. And one thing I didn't mention, I want you all to keep in your mind when you're building your follow-up sequence is that, everybody talks about marketing. People is to establish gain credibility by establishing trust. People buy things from people they know, trust, and like, or whatnot. And to really keep that simple for a lot of you is understand that the best thing you can do is educate the people in your follow-up sequence. If you can turn on the light bulb in their brain, you will forever be the owner of that information, and they will always be tied to you in some way. So it doesn't matter what they have heard from other people. If you can educate them in a way where like the switch turns on, you will forever be held at a high point or high value in their minds. And Barry, I see this all the time with your course, your active campaign course on Udemy. Every time somebody goes through that course, they walk away enlightened. And then, like when they jump into the community, they're like, Barry, you're a rock star. And it's because you were the first one to turn on that light. So if in your follow-up sequence, be thinking about this as you're writing out your emails, what can I give them to really make a light turn on, like the switch click? Because once that's on, you got them. They're yours. And, you just continue to educate and market with integrity.
Very cool. Very cool. All right.
Yep. All right. So let's get into the single double, Barry.
Single double. The Chris Davis single double trademark. Chris Davis, 2015.
Yes. I stumbled across this back in my days with Infusionsoft and Office Autopilot and everything. And Active Campaign allowed me to do it so easy. I was like, oh my God. Actually, Barry, people may not even realize there's a timer in Active Campaign that no other platform has. And I'm going to introduce it right here, right now.
And,
all right.
and just timer recording this, they've just put universal time into the automation.
Oh, and if I could scream and not be judged, I would do it right now.
We won't judge. This is a safe environment, Chris.
Right. All right. So check this out, Barry. Everybody knows single double. Single opt-in is somebody enters in their email address and they're automatically added to your list. Double opt-in means that they're not added to their list. Even though they've entered their email address on your landing page, they're not added to your list, but they click a link in a confirmation email that they're sent.
Right.
So a lot of people use double opt-in because it keeps your list clean and it's good practice. A lot of people use single opt-in because they don't care about that. They just want the emails to start marketing.
Right.
I'm right in the middle. I am right in the middle. I understand both. And I know a lot of people starting out, they really should use double opt-in because there's a lot of trust that they need to build up. But once your trust is built and your brand is established, you should move to single opt just to be able to eliminate the friction. Remember, keep the slide slippery. So what I've got is a middle ground that works for both starters and advanced users. And the nature of it is single opt-in. So this means they're going to enter in their email address and they're going to be added to your list. So before I say that, I subscribe to Barry's ideology of using a master list in Active Campaign. One main list that all of your contacts are added to, because we're going to use tags to segment them by the actions that they take. Okay.
We're all about the tags here.
Yes. So you're going to need some tags for this. You've got your master list. They opt in and they're added to the master list and they're sent the welcome email. And this welcome email delivers the lead magnet, delivers the promise, and engages them and asks them to reply. All right. Now, here's where it gets very interesting. If I am one of those people that I know, I've seen this time and time again, Barry, if they don't engage early, it's going to be very hard to get them to engage later.
Right.
Right? They gave you their email address is the hottest they'll ever be. Okay. Unless they attend a webinar or some other event that heats them back up. But right then and there, if they don't take action there, the chances that they take action later drop exponentially as they may remain on your list. And a lot of people will keep sending these people emails and then it'll just hurt your reputation.
Yeah.
So I'm one of those people that I don't necessarily care if my list isn't 100,000. If it's 10,000 and all of them are highly engaged, I guarantee you I'll always beat you. I'll always beat your 100,000 list.
Yeah.
All right. So understand that's my mindset when I do this. So the first email has gone out. And what I'm looking for is I'm waiting for a link click. And once they click a link in that first email, I have an automation in Active Campaign that just sets a tag and says they're either engaged or they're marketable. It just means that this person, I know I can reach their inbox. All right. So that's the first email. And I have that automation running for every link. Anytime somebody clicks a link or opens an email, I'm going to say, hey, they've engaged for the most part. I have a tag that it says they're engaged because now I know I can reach their inbox. That's the whole point of double opt-in, is to make sure that you can reach somebody's inbox.
Right.
So I've sent them that welcome email. Well, guess what happens? What if they don't open or click the link? Now I have a yes, no branch, right?
Yeah.
I wait a day and I see, have they clicked or opened an email? If it's no, if they have not, I'm going to send them a reminder. And it's real simple. It's like, hey, did you still want this? Like literally that's the subject line. And you'd be amazed at how many people, yeah, I do. And they'll go in there and they'll click. And guess what? They open the email and click. Now I know I can reach their inbox.
Yeah, we have a saying in Australia. It's "Oi." Did you still want this? So this is for new subscribers who haven't been on your list previously. So this isn't necessarily for somebody who's
So if they've been on
decided
your
they
list,
want this lead magnet.
absolutely. So guess what? If they've been on your list and they've already opened and clicked the email, that initial condition will already be met.
Yeah, that's right.
And they'll just continue down the flow, which is beautiful, right? And so here's where I wanted to introduce a wait state. In Active Campaign, they got the first email. I waited a day to see if they clicked the link or opened it. They have not. So now they've got this reminder. There is a wait in Active Campaign that says wait until.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you can wait. Well, I think it's wait until. I think it's actually wait. You can wait a certain amount of days, or you can wait until an action has taken place or a specified amount of time.
Or even both, actually.
Yeah. So this wait is both. I should have had it up. But anyways, it's in the automation that I'll share with you all at the end of this podcast. So what I do is I have this wait state, 2-condition wait state, is I'm going to wait for an email to be opened or a link to be clicked, or wait for 30 days. Some you can do 14 days, you could do 7 days. It all depends on you, right? So what that is saying is I'm giving you 30 days. I'm giving you 30 days to click this link. And if you don't click it, I'm going to add a tag to you that you're not engaged.
Right.
So when it comes time to do list cleanup or hygiene or whatnot, you will be getting the boot, or you'll be added to a retargeting list. Or when I'm sending my broadcast, I'm going to suppress you because you haven't engaged.
I'm going to send a couple guys around to your house with a lead magnet and make you read it.
Right. So this works beautifully because you immediately filter out the people who aren't serious, just out the gate. So now that you know in Active Campaign, you can go and look up your tag engaged and how many ever people pull up under that tag, you know your open rate is going to be at least 30%. I've never seen this sequence not create an open rate of over 30% for campaigns sent to people who use this ever.
Right. So that's 30% of when you're sending to that engaged segment?
Sending a broadcast. Yep, like a campaign is what it's called.
And just to clarify, since this is not very visual medium, so that wait 30 days, that's under that no branch in that they haven't clicked.
Yes.
So you got that yes, no branch. Have they opened this? No, they haven't. Then you're going to send them the, "Oi, mate, open the email." One.
Yes.
And then you're going to wait 30 days and then you're going to give them the boot or put them on a less engaged segment or to get rid of them altogether.
Absolutely. And what that timer is going to do is say, any email, have they clicked? Any email, have they opened? Or has it been 30 days? It's looking for those 3 events.
Yeah.
And one of them has to be satisfied and they'll move on.
Yeah.
So once they move on, because it's like, oh, they clicked, they'll move on. And then, an active campaign, I use the go to action.
Mhm.
And I just send that go to action to email number 2, which would be the first email in your follow up sequence. And then they get the rest of the delivery sequence.
So this will be a bit more apparent when we do the show notes. But
Yep.
So is that 5 email, or in this case 6 because you've got the welcome plus a 5?
Yep.
That lives under the S branch. So,
Yes,
yeah, okay.
It's under the yes. They have to engage to get it, Barry.
And then
Because if they don't, I know that I'm going to send emails that they don't care about.
Exactly right. So that go-to action moves them basically off that no branch across over onto the S branch.
There
Picks
you
them up
go.
on that first second email. Right. Cool. Got it.
There you go.
Super.
Yep. And this is kind of like the starter of all of my sequences. All of my sequences do this. And like I said, I'm glad you brought up if they're already on your list, because if they're already on their list, this does never affects them.
That's right.
And here's what you'll see too, Barry, because most people, like I said, I have 30 days. I'm intentional with 30 days because I send a broadcast. I send broadcasts, right?
Mm-hmm.
So most people are sending a weekly broadcast. So what you're saying is you didn't open my first email, so I'm going to send 4 broadcast emails to you. And if you open any one of those 4 emails or click a link in there, I'll finish delivering what I promised. I'll finish nurturing off your initial opt-in. So it's really good. It took me a while to really architect it and understand how to do it. But when I got my hands on Active Campaign, it was like the missing piece because I've kind of been holding it in my head. And I've built it out at least, I can't count how many times I've built it out. And it's worked like magic every time. Every single time. It's just, engaging people early and delivering what you promised goes a long way. You don't have to be all, tricky and all these tactics. You just, do what you say and do it well.
I tell you what, man, I've talked to lots and lots of internet marketers and lots of automators, and there's a really common theme, and that common theme is just keep it really simple and do that simple thing really well. Like you don't have to get super complex for this stuff.
Yes, that's it. And if you use like the single double, like I'm saying, it doesn't matter how long your nurture sequence is. It doesn't matter because this is just the first email that you're using this to get your high engagement so that when you look at, when people progress through, they're engaged and it works. And I will say one thing to make sure of is when you're building out your follow-up sequence, remember you're asking and encouraging people to reply. So please reply to their emails. Oh my goodness. Please reply as fast as you can, honestly, to their emails. You don't have to be a slave to them, but you have to, the faster you can reply, the more trust you'll build.
That's right. That's right. Okay. So just quickly, let's go back to that 5 follow-up sequence or that 6 email follow-up sequence. Get the welcome and then the 5 follow-ups or however many steps there are on your lead magnet.
Yep.
Are those going out every day, one a day for the next 5 days? Or
yeah, I've seen a lot of people kind of do first one is a 1-day delay, then the next one 3-day, next one 5. Pat Flynn recently showed one of his sequences that goes out like 30 days and it's only like 6 emails. But he's got like 5 days, 9 days in between. I would recommend starting out, just use a day delay between each one. Starting out. And as you get more advanced or more in the know with your contacts in your database, you can start spreading that out or whatnot. But starting out, 1-day delay between all of them.
And then the other question I had was, while they're in that 5 email sequence or 6 email sequence, are you isolating them from broadcasts as well? So that they're just getting those 5 before you start broadcasting to them?
I'm so glad you brought that up. Yeah, I'm isolating them. I have what you call do not disturb mode. I will not disturb them as they are digesting that follow-up sequence. Now, afterwards, right when they finish, I apply the tag that enables them to start receiving my broadcast or my campaign.
So you're just using a tag to isolate them from. So your broadcast segment is like everybody but the people with the isolate tag or the do not disturb
Absolutely.
tag. Yeah, cool.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
Very cool. All right, man. Well, that was cool. Very practical, very exciting. And you're upselling in each of those 5 for those 5 emails as well?
Yes. And as I mentioned, if you're selling a book, you gave away a chapter, right? And in every email, you're doing something like, I go about this in depth. in my book. Or, you're mentioning, it's not a real hard push, Barry. Like, I don't want people to think they have to be this used car salesman type person. What you're doing is you're explaining that there's more in the product. Like I mentioned this in chapter 5, I write on, I mentioned X, Y, Z. I provide the framework in chapter 7. I provide this framework in chapter 7. You get what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And then provide them a link to get the product.
Yeah, you're just giving them more what they're interested in. Hashtag slipperiness.
Right. Slipperiness.
Awesome. Well, that's a fantastic sequence, Chris, and I understand you're going to share that with all listeners as well. Is that right?
Absolutely, Barry. I knew before I came on that this was going to need a visual representation.
Yeah.
So I have exactly that. I have a blueprint. It is literally a blueprint. It's blue background, white text, everything. But it maps out all of these automations and how they need to be set up. But I'm not stopping there. There's also a link when you download this blueprint to download the automation in ActiveCampaign. So you can just import it. From there, you don't have to build it. You could just start building out your follow-up emails and be up and going with little to no friction, slipperiness.
Awesome. Hashtag slipperiness. Chris trademark.
Right.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So if you want to head over to the show notes, there'll be all the information we just mentioned there, and you'll be able to download it. Chris, yes. I want to thank you so much for coming on, sharing another great sequence with us. Always great talking to you and all the listeners out there. If you want some more great marketing automation from myself and Chris, you can join us in the Automation Nation private Facebook group. Just head over to Facebook and type in Automation Nation. Ask to join, and we'll let you in, and you can share in all the great minds in marketing automation that are constantly sharing great tips inside that community.
Yes. And I will say, Barry, we don't hold back. We don't know. If you have a question, it's going to be answered. And I've been known to even private message people if they need a little more hands-on approach. So it's not one of those groups where we're out to get something. We're truly out to give and educate you on marketing automation so you can succeed.
Yeah, Chris and I both kind of share an ethos and a vision that more people need to get this stuff. We're on a crusade to educate about marketing automation. So that's Absolutely. Why I love talking to Chris. And by all means, join us inside the community, and you will learn stuff every single day in there. It's great.
Absolutely. And I would say, just in case, because I know you published this to Stitcher and iTunes, if you don't have access to the show notes, I'll make it easy for you as well. I've got a link for you, chrisldavis.com, CHRIS, chrisldavis.com/AM blueprint, AM as an active marketer, blueprint, all without any spaces. So AM blueprint, and you'll be able to download that blueprint as well.
And you will be subjected to the single double, no doubt.
You will, yes.
Awesome.
Yes, you will.
All right. Thanks so much for coming on. Always a pleasure to talk to you, and have fun at the upcoming Lead Pages event.
Yes, I will. Thank you so much, Barry. I really enjoyed it.
Thanks, Chris. Well, there you have it. You are now armed and ready to go out there and create your own perfect follow-up sequence for your lead magnet. I'd like to really thank Chris Davis for coming on. I love talking to him. He's such a great guy. If you want to find all the show notes, you can find them over at theactivemarketer.com/slippery, of course. theactivemarketer.com/slippery. That's where you'll find them all. We'll share everything we talked about in the episode, including an automation that Chris is going to share with everybody. We'll have links to that. Chris and I also run a closed Facebook group called Automation Nation. So if you want to learn everything about marketing automation, you want your questions answered, you want to pick up some great tips from the collective wisdom of all the members of Automation Nation, head over to Facebook. Just do a search for Automation Nation and let us know you heard about it on the podcast. Request access to the group, and we'll look forward to seeing you inside. And by all means, you know by now, if you're a listener, that you need to get your tagging sorted out. Every marketing automation platform runs, lives, and dies by its tagging. That's why we've created our own lead magnet, which is the Ninja Guide to Tagging. And you can pick that up for free and get your tagging sorted out. So you can head over to theactivemarketer.com/tagging guide, all one word, and download your free Ninja Guide to Tagging. And you can read that while we're busy recording the next episode, and we'll see you back next week for another great interview. In the meantime, get out there and design, automate, and scale your business to the next level with sales and marketing automation. See you, everybody.
Thanks for listening to the Active Marketer Podcast. You can find the show notes and all the latest marketing automation news over at theactivemarketer.com.